In the last video, I promised to break down the crucial difference between a liability to tax and a tax liability. These are key terms in understanding Australian tax legislation. Everyone is technically liable to tax in Australia under the Income Tax Act 1986. Section 5 states income tax is imposed in accordance with this act. However, this doesn't mean you automatically pay. It merely creates a potential inchoate liability. This means it is incomplete. This concept was clearly explained in the Federal Court ruling of Deputy Commissioner of Taxation v Chemical Trustee Limited, 2013, FCA 494. The court stated that whatever else may be said about the liability created under this act, it is not one which is payable until a notice of assessment has been issued. It is an inchoate liability. So, how does this inchoate liability become payable? The key lies in the Commissioner's assessment. Section 5.5 of the Income Tax Assessment Act 1997 clarifies that income tax is only due if the Commissioner makes an assessment of your income tax for the year. This brings us to the famous Kerry Packer example. He didn't have to pay income tax because the Commissioner didn't make an assessment for him. Why didn't the Commissioner make an assessment? As I mentioned, income tax is compulsory only for those who fall into specific categories. Kerry Packer, a shrewd businessman, managed to stay out of those categories by just following the law. Let me tell you how. He legally avoided this crucial step by not falling into categories that trigger a tax return and assessment. No assessment means no tax payable. He achieved this by not becoming an Australian resident for tax purposes. While he resided in Australia, he wasn't an Australian resident for the purposes of tax law. In tax legislation, there's a critical distinction between an Australian resident and a resident of Australia. This subtle yet significant difference is key. Understanding this distinction is fundamental to legally evading the liability to tax imposed by the Income Tax Act 1986. Want to learn the full Packer method and delve deeper into these tax strategies? Email us at paynotaxaustralia@gmail.com. Next, we'll break down the precise difference between an Australian resident and a resident of Australia for tax purposes, revealing more insights into paying no tax.